Hello everyone. Now it's time to get your left hand set up so we can start playing. I'm going to start by introducing a term that I use frequently. This is called finger spacing patterns. So when we're talking about spacings, we're talking about the distance between two fingers. Okay, right now we're going to start with adjacent fingers. Now I think you know the finger numbers. If not, let me just tell you really quick one time and you'll have it. First finger is the index finger. Second finger is the middle finger. Third finger is the ring finger, and fourth finger is the pinky. All right, so there are three types of spacing that we identify when we're talking about patterns. One is the half step, and that's when two fingers are right next to each other. All right, if you have large hands and thick fingers, they're going to be touching pretty closely. And if you have small hands and thin fingers, they'll be right next to each other. You might feel them lightly brushing next to each other, but they still, this is our closest proximity for two adjacent fingers. It's the half step. Then we have the whole step. Okay, this is a very natural distance. It's the distance, I would call it a finger's width, right? Because if you do this, it's a half step. So if you do this, you could stick a finger in between. And that most everything you play will either be a whole step or a half step in between adjacent fingers. Occasionally, but not for quite a while, you'll have an extension where you have a whole step plus a half step. And these are very wide spacings, and we call them extensions. Now, all music, melodies, they're built around scales. So you'll recognize this famous tune. All right, that was built around a D major scale. All those notes conformed to a D major scale, and we say it's in the key of D. So for every scale or for every key, we have a very specific sequence of whole steps and half steps on each string, and our fingers have to conform to these patterns. And the better you know them, the better you understand them, the more accurately you will predict the placement of the next note. You'll make fewer mistakes. So we're going to start with the 2-3 finger pattern, and I call it the 2-3. I label finger patterns according to the two fingers that are half step apart. So the most common finger pattern for beginners is the 2-3, because most beginning pieces and in all method books are in keys like D major, where you have a half step between the second and third finger. All right, so in the next video, we're going to do lots of exercises to get your hand really well set up.